Alrighty guys, I'm Casey and welcome to Into the Farlands, the series where we are trying to walk to the Farlands here in Minecraft. Now if you don't know what the Farlands are in Minecraft, then allow me to explain them to you. It's a very simple concept that out at something like 12 million blocks, there is some really weird and strange world generation. And we are going to attempt to walk there because it is the only way short of I'm making a bed wrong. Short of making short of downloading a world that will basically allow us to go there, no problem. I actually want to walk there myself, and so that's what we're going to do. And in this series, what I tend to do is, because we are just walking in one direction, I have decided that I'm going to show my F3 coordinates. That's interesting. At the beginning of every episode, because I am terrible remembering if I'm going in the right direction. So we've got to get 20, I think it's like 12 million blocks. I can't remember the exact number, but we're walking in this general direction. So let's talk about something today. Each episode I choose a topic to talk about, and I talk about it because I think it makes these interesting. And I want to talk about friends and family, because for the first time in quite some time, I actually got really angry, really agitated. And something really got to me, and it's really gotten to me. And now, typically, I don't let things get to me. I'm usually one of those people that if something happens, I just deal with it. My car broke down again recently, and I had to dip into the funds for my car. And I've been talking about wanting a 4K setup, but my car ended up more, so I had to take money from that. But I don't get down on it. You know, it happens. I'll get the 4K upgrade at some point. It's all good. You know. But what I want to talk about today is something that actually really got under my skin, and it really did, you know. But just to put it into perspective, a lot of things don't get under my skin. It's very hard to really annoy me to a point where I get agitated. But this annoyed me to a point where I got in my car and I drove with no petrol in my car, about 20 miles to remedy it, and I literally got back with no petrol in my car. And like the moronic idiot I was, I thought, oh, you know what? I'll pick up some petrol on the way there. So I grab my wallet and I get to the petrol station. I go to the bank and I put my bank card in, and it tells me that I've got 17p in my bank. And I'm like, hang on a minute. That can't be right. So I look down and the bank card's all nice and shiny. And that immediately tells me what my problem is. My problem was that I have several bank accounts. One of them I call the bill account. And this is where I put money for all my bills. My bills go out of that one account, so I know that one account is my bill account. So there's only ever the money in there to cover the bills, you know, usually down to the pence. There's a few odd pence here and there that sometimes, you know, sometimes my phone bill isn't as much as it was last month, sorry. And anyway, I'd picked up that bank card, hadn't I? I'd left my actual bank card with my spending money, my housekeeping money, that kind of stuff in at home. But of course, I'm annoyed. So I don't want to turn around and go back home. So I continue. And I want to tell you the story of this. And this goes into family and friends and what family and friends mean to me. So just, again, another perspective to show you how difficult it is. There was an instance a few years back where my wife's sister, who absolutely hates me, she absolutely hates me for whatever reason. I don't know what I did to really anger her so much, but I did. And she went around spreading a load of really bad rumors about me that I don't want out there. I don't want people thinking that of me. And my wife blew up at her over it. She shouldn't be saying those things. My wife told me what she'd said, and I fell to the ground laughing so hard. I found it amusing. Now, typically I find things amusing, especially when it's an attack on me. If someone were to attack me, I take it as a roast and I laugh at it. Because I would much rather laugh at life than not laugh at life, you know? But this wasn't an attack on me. This was an attack on someone else, someone I cared about. And that angered me. I don't get angry very often. In fact, I can't remember the last time I did get angry. Now, I should explain what my anger is. When I get angry, I don't get mad. I don't start ranting. I don't start raving. I don't start screaming or shouting. You know, if you want to catch me screaming or shouting, then I'm going to have to stub my toe, and then I will call the step that I stubbed my toe on several curse words, and then I'll just get about my day. When I get angry, I don't get the kind of angry where I start ranting and raving. I want to make that perfectly clear. But my wife gives me a call. My wife's gone to her family's. Now, if you're keeping up to date, me and my wife, we are separated. She has her own flat. She lives on her own. But we do very much love each other, and we do want our relationship to work. So we do still try. She does spend weekends with me and so on and so forth. But anyway, let me get back into my story now that I want to talk about. And anyway, she went to her family's in the city, as she usually does around Easter time every year. They had this little Easter egg on, and one of the little babies in that side of the family wanted to sleep over with my daughter. My daughter was going to go there for a night. And then this happened. So they're all there at their grandmother's. And maybe I shouldn't talk about stuff like this on YouTube, but it goes into like the topic that I want to talk about. This isn't a rant about what happened. This is like me talking about something that I feel very, very strongly about. And of course, I reach another one, but we'll go that way around. So I get a call off my wife Saturday night saying, "You won't believe what my grandma's just done." And I'm like, "What?" And she says, "She's only gone and booked a holiday." I was like, "Oh, cool. So you're going away with your grandma then?" And she went, "Oh, no. Me and Summer," that Summer's the name of my daughter, "we're not invited." They specifically turned around to me and they said, "Oh, you're not part of the clique, so you're not invited." Now, my wife and my daughter are the only two people in the family not invited, because they are not part of the clique. And this angered me, that they weren't going to invite my daughter on holiday because they're not part of the inner circle or the inner group. My wife takes my daughter down every single time they ask her to. But she's not good enough for a holiday with them. She's not good enough. And this has been an ongoing issue, where they punish my daughter because my wife chose to live out here where I live. But to be honest, almost everybody who ever comes to visit me here says that they would live here if they could. There's a reason property prices are so high where I live. And that's because it's peaceful. Like 9 times out of 10, example, I've just gotten back after taking my dogs for a walk. I need some wood. There is no wood around here. So I just got back from taking my dogs for a walk. I didn't lock my doors. I got back, nothing was stolen. And to show you just like how bad that could have gone for me, my car keys are hung up in my kitchen. My car is parked out front. I didn't take my car. I walked to the little park. It's literally around the corner, and I do mean around the corner. But I wasn't even worried that maybe, just maybe, someone would have robbed me. Because it's where I live. It's peaceful. Nothing happens here. My wife's from the city. There's a lot of crime. She lived right next to one of the worst areas possible. There's always something getting stolen or robbed or whatnot where my wife's mum lives, and it's just dreadful. I pulled up there to pick my daughter up on Saturday, and there's a guy in the car smoking weed. And he's cursing and he sounds drunk, and I ain't got a problem with people smoking weed. That happens where I live. There's several people that smoke weed where I live, but I don't smoke, so no skin off my back. But they do what you want. That's my philosophy in life. You do what you want. Sun's on the left side. But anyway, it was the fact that they were drunk and they were cursing, and it was the fact that it sent chills down my spine. It's like I'm not gonna go over there, so I parked away from them because I didn't want to cause trouble. But anyway, like I said, they booked this holiday right in front of my wife, right in front of my daughter, and everyone's going but those two, and they just turned around and went, "You're not invited." She's not invited to the holiday, yet everybody else is. All the other kids are. All the other adults are. The only other one not invited is my wife's sister. But to be honest, I can completely understand that because she causes trouble wherever she goes. Like, she will only go down to get money out of her grandparents, you know. My wife doesn't. My wife always goes down during the holiday seasons. Every holiday season, whether it's a week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on the length of the holiday. Goes down around Easter, goes down around Christmas, goes down around all the birthdays. You know, she goes down quite a lot, and she's very friendly with them. She's not in their bad books, you know. She's not done anything to offend them. She's not done it like that. But they don't approve of my wife for two reasons. The first one that they didn't approve of my wife was because my wife didn't work. Now, me and my wife, we had an arrangement. And we knew that we wanted to get an education. And we put that first. And so we alternated years at college. You know, I went to college and she went to college. You know? But because she didn't work while she went to college, I did. I worked for myself. But because she didn't work, she was scum to them. Scum. Absolutely bewilders me. So this kind of annoyed me. And I made the decision. I says, look, if they're not going to bother with summer anymore, if they're going to do this to summer, book a holiday right in front of her and tell her she's not invited, you know, then she's not having it more to do with it. And until they start they make the effort now, when my daughter's staying here, she's not going there. I'm not having that. They could treat me like crap. They could treat my wife like crap. There's nothing I can do when they treat my wife like crap. I'm not going to start standing up for my wife to them because that will inevitably cause problems. And I don't want to do that for my wife. My wife's, said just leave it off time. So I've learned to just leave it when they insult my wife. You know, it's my wife's family. My wife deals with it. But when they do that to my daughter and they start outcasting my daughter because she lives so far away. Now, I just want to put this into perspective a little bit more. The city is 14 miles away. They live in one of the villages on the outskirts of the city. It takes me driving in my car. It takes me about a half an hour in heavy traffic to get there. And that's in heavy traffic. Now, I used to go to college in the city. My wife went to college in the city. It is perfectly feasible. It takes an hour on the bus and the travel is horrendous. But if I can get on a bus 3 to 4 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week, to go to the city and back for 6 weeks at a time before I get a week off, they can make the effort to come down 1 day a month, maybe, you know. But no. But my wife always makes that effort, you know. And, I grew up very, very close to a cousin of mine. And anyway, my cousin lives in the next city over. And the two city centres are only about 7 or 8 miles apart. But we live on one side of the county. Like, we live on, the west side of the county. She lived on the east side of the next county. It takes about an hour in every traffic to drive. And my cousin used to come and stay with my mum and me many times. Almost every single weekend. And most of the school holidays. Now, I will admit that both my mum and her mum drove, and they used to meet halfway just to cut down on the travel time. But at the end of the day, if it's possible to do that every single weekend, it is perfectly possible for them just to get on a bus and come, you know. It's 2 buses. If you want to make the journey in about half an hour, you can catch 2 different buses. It's a little bit more on the costly side, but it's only about, it's about a £5 to get to the city, one person, and back. And it's about £7 or £8 if you want to get the 2 buses. So it's not overly expensive. They have absolutely no reason for not coming and seeing my daughter. And my wife can do it. My wife can go down. And I will admit, they have been down. On average, they come down maybe once a year. And, we invited my wife's mum down for Christmas because we spent Christmas together as a family. My mum always comes around for Christmas. I go and pick her up. She comes around. She likes watching her granddaughter open presents. and we invited my wife's mum down. And I offered to drive to pick her up on Christmas Eve and drop her back off Boxing Day morning, because she had work on Boxing Day afternoon. So I was going to get up early and take her back on Boxing Day so she could spend the day with her granddaughter. But you know what she said? No. Because her son and her son's girlfriend would be at home. Now her son is 20, 21, I want to say. Maybe he's older than that. He may be 22 or 23, I don't know. But he lived at home with his girlfriend. He's old enough to be on his own in my book. You know? Hell, when I was 19, I spent my first Christmas away from home. Oh no, I apologise. I spent my second Christmas away from home because I did spend one Christmas with my dad. But I suppose that is at home. But now I'm rambling about how annoyed I am with my wife's family for not bothering. But anyway, where's the sun? Sun is setting that side, so yeah, we are still going the right way. But anyway, but this goes back to quite a lot of mine and my wife's disagreements with each other. And for my wife is very much centered on herself, right? Whereas me, I'm very much centered on my family. And what that means is, and what I attribute it to most of the time, is the environment that we were raised in. So I was raised in a very loving environment. I had a mum and a nan who literally doted on me, and an uncle who was amazing. I actually do need some more wood. And my wife, not so much. She had 2 brothers and a sister. Her mother was married twice. Her stepdad was very, very abusive. He wasn't physically abusive. He didn't used to punch or hit her, but she would be stood in a corner for literally anything, any little thing. And she would, she said she spent many, many hours just sat in a corner almost every single day. His kids, the exes, would pin her down, shoot with BB guns, and whatnot. And her stepsisters were absolutely dreadful, which baffles me because she is like really close to him right now. Like, she's always on the phone, on video chat with them. But she had that kind of growing up where she had to focus about herself because no one else in the household was going to focus on her. So she had to make it about herself. Whereas with me, I was brought up in a very loving environment. I never had to want for anything because I always had everything that I wanted. And, well... Oh, I see. So the armor actually goes down as it gets slightly damaged. But yeah, as I was saying, we need some more food. And I think that that's what is really, really hard for me to understand. Like, I would go to the ends of the earth for my family and my friends. I've got a friend right now, and she's in a really dark place. A really dark place. And when I tell you that she is on the phone to me many times a day, I do literally mean that she is calling me almost every hour, if not more than once an hour. This morning alone, it was about 1 o'clock when I started recording. In the time from me waking up at 9:30, she called me at 10 o'clock and then 5 times from 10 till 1. Just to talk, because she's in a dark place. She just wants someone to talk to. She's having a few panic attacks. And my reaction to this is, okay, I'll talk to you. Whenever you need me, just call. And I will. I'll always pick up the phone when she calls. Even if it annoys me. There are times it does annoy me, last night I was trying to just sit down and play some Minecraft with some friends. I was trying to figure out some Draconic Evolution stuff. And, well, she was calling me almost every 5 minutes. And that was annoying. But what did I say to her? No. I never said it was annoying. I never told her that she couldn't call me. Because she's family. I mean, she's a friend, but she's close enough for family. was the son. And so, to me, that's what family do. You know, they are there for one another, and they do things, you know. For example, me and my wife, we have an arrangement with a member of our family, right? And my wife ends up, or we used to, but now it's just my wife, ends up looking after a member of the family's son quite a lot. The son and my daughter are very, very close. Okay? And quite often in return for this, they'll usually let us slip away to their caravan for a couple of weeks during the summer holidays, as a way of thanking us for looking after their son. So we're going to go away. And we're fortunate, this has only been the past couple of years. But we are fortunate enough to be able to go on holiday for free. Now, I didn't go last year, but my wife and my daughter did. But I do plan to go this year. And well, anyway, the last time that we went as a family, we invited both mums. We're not doing that this time. We're not inviting her mum. Because her mum got that free holiday and paid absolutely nothing. But her mum's going on holiday. She's got her own holiday now. So we're going without her. We're not inviting her. We talked about inviting the mums again and having a family holiday. But it kind of dawned on us that the saying that family isn't blood is very, very true. Family isn't blood. Family is those who you care about. And just to put this into perspective, I said that a lot into perspective. My best mate, one of my best mates, right? He's staying with me at the moment, and he's like a brother to me. Now, him and my wife have never gotten along. Never. He's got Asperger's syndrome, and my wife gets annoyed by everything syndrome. So they tend to get on each other's feet quite a lot. And they argue. They argue. They do argue. And I'll tell you a story in a minute about one of their biggest arguments they ever had. But I stay out of it because I know that they can argue. And then my wife can go to him and go, hey, look, we need some Maleki. You want to go halves since you're staying here? And he'll go, yeah, sure. And they won't argue about it. And that'll be just after an argument. And I know that if ever he's upset or in need, you know, if he's ever needed to borrow money and he's asked my wife's got it, my wife's borrowed it to him. Even though they don't get along, you know. And it's not because they don't like each other, it's just their personalities clash. You know, they were sat down watching Game of Thrones. Uh-oh. Creeper. Yesterday. Now, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but they watched it together. They had fun. But anyway, she's asked if I want to invite my two friends on holiday with us, and I've said I don't know. And the reason that I don't know, it's not because I don't want them to come. I think it would be amazing if we did go on holiday with them. That'd be really fun, and I'm sure that they would love it. It's just that my mum's coming. My mum is coming on this holiday. And I like to just clear things with my mum first, you know. Because essentially, going on this holiday, my wife's going to be very preoccupied with all of the things that you do on a holiday. And if my friends come, I'm going to be preoccupied with them, which leaves my mum kind of on her own. And I like to take my mum with me. And we will need to take my mum with me regardless, because out of my friends, me, my wife, I am the only one, apart from my mum, who can drive. Now, we have two cars, and we're getting the second car on the road. But my wife can't drive. She's got a provisional license, and she's had a few lessons, and she can technically drive, but she can't legally drive. But we got two dogs. Two dogs, one daughter, 3 adults. That's without my friends coming. And my car is a little small Fiat Punto. And I genuinely don't see all of us fitting into there. And I've talked about OCDs in the past. I will not sleep with anybody else's bedding. When I go on holiday, I take my quilt, I take my pillows. When I stay at a friend's house, I take my quilt, I take my pillows. You know? The only person's house I will stay at and not take my own stuff is my wife's flat. But that's because I already have them there. There ain't going to be enough room in my car, so we were going to need 2 cars regardless. So, you know, we're thinking about that. But I want to share, before I forget, the story of my wife and my best friend, or one of my best friends. I call him my brother because he's like a brother. So one day, those two were getting into a heated argument. And when I say a heated argument, this is a kind of argument where they were in each other's face. And I do mean it. Nose pressed against nose. They were yelling at each other so much so that I'm sure that they mixed saliva at some point because it was just spraying out of their mouth. They were really, really hot for each other there. They were getting... That sounded wrong. I made them sound like they were in love. They were just really angry at each other. I think it had been a combination of both had a bad day. And I'm here thinking, do I get involved at this point? But I've known from past experience that they usually resolve it very quickly and they'll apologise and it's all forgotten and whatnot. But then it happened. In the midst of this huge argument that had been roaring for about half an hour, it happened. They just stopped. They looked at each other and decided in that moment there, in the middle of an argument, that that was the perfect time to order pizza. So they stopped. They discussed what toppings in a very calm manner they were going to have on that pizza. They couldn't agree on the toppings in a calm manner. So they decided on half and half in a calm manner. They decided who was going to call the pizza shop in a calm manner. They called the pizza shop. While they were on the phone, they decided to add garlic bread to the order in a calm manner. They got off the phone. And then they started rowing again. They started their argument right back up. And I am absolutely bewildered by that. Bewildered. Arguing. Stop to order pizza. Resume arguing. It was like the thing out of something you would see in one of them overhyped comedies. You know, them bad comedies you see all over Netflix and Amazon Prime. Oh, I absolutely loved it. And I tell that story all the time. It is most certainly one of the better stories to tell. But yeah, when it comes to family and friends, family isn't blood and blood isn't family. You know, there are several members of my family that I would throw under the bus before I threw my best mates under the bus. You know? Because it's all about who you value. There was a time when my wife and I were homeless. We had a little baby girl. We were both unemployed. Both in college, actually. And we were in this little bungalow in the middle of nowhere. And we had absolutely no money. No money whatsoever. And I don't mean that we had a very little amount of money. I mean, we had nothing. We actually had to go around to the doctors, to the social services, just to get food for our daughter because we had nothing. We were in the middle of nowhere. There was no jobs. There was nothing. And we didn't even know anything about the help the government could give us back then. So we had nothing. And anyway, I wasn't talking to my mum because she kicked us out. And I thought that she was mad at us. Turned out she wasn't mad at us, but anyway. My wife rang her mum and said, "Look, we have absolutely no money. We're in the middle of nowhere. We've got nothing. Can you spare us just 20 quid so we get food for our daughter?" You know what my wife's mum said? She said no. She said she didn't have any money. Not a penny. A couple of days later, she went out and bought both of her sons an Xbox 360 and her other daughter a brand new phone and herself a camera. Yeah, my wife and I had absolutely no food and they had no money to spare. Now my friend, the one who I was just telling you about with the pizza, we called him and he was unemployed at the time. He had absolutely no money. It was a couple of days before his payday. He had a tenner to his name. And I said to her, "Look, could you go to my mum's? Could you tell her we've got no money? Could you bring me some clothes? You know." And he was like, "Well, I don't know, I haven't got that much money, but I'll see what I can do." And he spent the last of his money bringing us the stuff that we asked for. And just to put that into perspective, this guy smokes. He didn't even have the money for papers. He was rolling up pieces of paper from around the house to have a smoke with because he couldn't afford the papers. He used his last money getting to us and bringing us our stuff. Now, we did run into another issue there because there was now 3 of us to feed, 3 adults and 1 baby with absolutely no money. But at least we had stuff. And he didn't have to do that. He didn't. But he gave his last money to help us out. My wife's mum wouldn't. My mum did eventually send us some money in the post. And thankfully our time of poverty is behind us. But it was just the fact that her mum didn't care. Didn't care one bit that her daughter and her granddaughter had absolutely no food whatsoever. I mean, the Xbox 360s were brand new. This was when the Slim came out. I know it wasn't when the Slim came out. It was when the... Actually, it might have been when the Slim came out. But, you know, they were a couple of £100. A new phone was about £100 back then. A new camera was another £100. So it's a lot of money. And you couldn't spare £10. It's the kind of people that they are. But yeah, I think I'm going to end out there with that little antidote there. Family isn't blood. Family is those who are there when you need them. You know, I wouldn't do something. I wouldn't go and pick my wife's mum up from the local shops if she asked me to. But I quite happily drove my friend across the county the other day. Like I said, family isn't blood. Family is those who are there for you. Those that you love and those that you care about. It's like I said to my wife. If you were in the hospital on your deathbed, who would come to visit you? Who would be there? If you fell and broke your leg, who would ask you if you were okay? So yeah, just keep that in mind. That family isn't always blood. Family are those who are there for you. I consider both my best mates my brothers, because if I need them, they would be there. If I asked them to jump, they would ask me how high, and I would do the same for them. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. So, if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like. It really helps out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. So please do leave that like, and click subscribe if you want to see more from me, guys. I'm KCR, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.